Give it just about 1 more minute and we will kick it off. If you have any questions tonight, feel free to put them in the chat box. If you're on your computer, that's down at the bottom, the little speech bubble. You have the option to direct your questions just to this Events in Cobb's account if you'd like for them to be private. You can also just put them out into the chat world. We'll be monitoring that all night. All right. Looks like we have a great crowd. We will go ahead and get started. Be aware of everyone's time. Kent, I believe you are kicking us off.
I am, yes, thank you. Welcome everybody. I have the honor of serving as chair of the board of the school. And since we are in a virtual circle, we'll start with the reading. When the morning's freshness has been replaced by the weariness of midday, when the leg muscles quiver under the strain, the climb seems endless, and suddenly nothing will go quite as you wish, it is then that you must not hesitate. Dag Hammarskjöld. And with that, it's my pleasure to yield the floor to our interim executive director, Ken Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. Good to see friends and family together in this virtual circle. First thing I have to say is 2 important words. Thank you. I am so thankful for your support, for your moral support and your financial support. During this time of COVID, we are moving forward only because we stand on the shoulders of our friends and family. And I'm very fortunate right now because I'm the bridge from our past where Whitney Montgomery, who was our leader for a long time, who retired, with love and grace, has decided to move forward. And right now, during this time, while I serve as a bridge to our new leader who we'll select, I want to be as helpful as possible with our family. And just let you know, we have an active search for a new ED. And Sabrina, if you shared a link with everybody, we have a firm, Isaacson, I'm Southern, I always screw up that name, Isaacson Miller, who's searching for a new ED. But share the link and you'll see that that's out there on the street now. But with that being said, while we're here together, I want to share what's happening on the ground. As you know, over the last year, when we had COVID happen, we've used our COVID protocols where we're evaluating where our students are coming from and conditions on the ground, and using these protocols to make sure to protect the health and safety of our staff and students. We've canceled courses, and this February, canceling short courses, but we're mindful that we keep everyone safe, but keep moving forward. And that, I'd like to introduce Deb, if you wouldn't mind just sharing what's happening with programming right now. So give our friends and family an update.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ken. Hey, folks, Deb Whitmore, Director of Wilderness Operations. As Ken said, it's been a challenging road to get to programming, and we are currently working on our semester course, which is going to be a domestic semester course starting in Everglades City in February. So we are working with the staff down in Everglades City and also in preparing for that transition to the North Carolina mountains. So with that, we're really excited to let folks know that we've hired 2 new program directors for the mountains. Some of these names will be familiar to some folks. We are welcoming Styles Rader as the Table Rock program director, and she will be joined by Christine Keene as Associate Program Director, and also Alyssa Casey as the Resident Course Director. And over at Cedar Rock, we have a former member of staff coming back to the fold. Josh Winnacore has accepted the position as Cedar Rock Program Director, and he will be joined by Ryan Kingery as the Associate Program Director. So we are really excited for that energy and leadership as we look to 2021 and getting back to program in earnest in the mountains. Other updates to share with folks, our HR department is working diligently. It is the hiring part of the season, and Devin Kearns has been working greatly to get out our work agreements to our current field staff, and is also hiring additional base staff for us. So I will say what's been really exciting to see is just brand new people wanting to join the school. So we have a bazillion applications for new assistant instructors and logistics and home folk. And where we are struggling with, which we sort of knew could happen, is there's been a huge transition of our instructors and lead instructors during this COVID time, where they have left the school in order to secure their financial needs. And so that is a challenge for us in looking to this year. So we're taking strides to make sure that our staffing is as robust as we can make it, knowing that the pipeline of our instructors has been affected somewhat by COVID. I'm just trying to think if there's anything. I think that's what I had, Ken.
Okay, well, thank you, Deb. I appreciate it. Now, Trish, down in Everglades City, in sunshine, my home state, can you share with everybody, our family, what's going on in Everglades City, young lady?
Well, at first, I don't know if you can see it. The puffer is coming in. Hannah Blue, Rose, and Kevin Rocky are out sailing on our little sailing dinghy right now, enjoying the warm weather. But big picture, we are getting pretty excited about welcoming the domestic semester course that will be starting, as Deb mentioned, February 26th. So we've been doing a lot of prep for that. And we've also been doing a lot of work on projects that we've been trying to get under us for a long time. We have several of our staff working on our Jedi book, or the Purple Book, as many of you all may know. Travis Herbert, I think, who's on this call, has put a lot of effort and work into in the past. And so it's really exciting to see the work and updating that book happening right before our eyes. And the attitude of the senior staff here is that we want to make folks pretty proud of the time that we've been spending working here and getting and taking care of the base camp and projects that have been kind of sitting on the desk for quite a while. We're getting those addressed. And we've also just been taking good care of each other and watching good sunsets. So that's the big picture from Everglades City.
Hey, Trish, thank you. Deb, Trish, both of you, appreciate the update. But most importantly, they represent the spirit that we have with our staff. Because if you ask, how's the morale? We got strong people who are dedicated. We're
Truly.
very fortunate that folks care. And even during crisis, we move forward. And that's what we're doing right now, preparing and positioning. Thank you again, Deb and Trish. And along with our staff, we have to have financial support. And we've been very fortunate during this time to have our friends contribute, with the funds we've raised, and then also the unrestricted funds. I mean, the goals we've met, I'm very proud. Hey, Ms. Carey, you mind sharing with everyone where we stand, how hard, they've worked to contribute, keep our doors open. Carey?
Yeah, definitely. It's been an outpouring of support this year. And once the pandemic hit last year, we actually had to really adjust the sails and make a new plan. And that plan was we needed to raise $1 million in operations. And I can tell you, we've made that goal. We've hit it already. So
Here you go.
Absolutely incredible to be able to have that at this point, and to be able to also during this time, we've also raised scholarship dollars as well. That's just incredible for us and able to make this plan, identify what's going to look like the next couple of months, and to have a little security in terms of as we're trying to deal with this pandemic and the uncertainty around it. So we're really excited. And I got to tell you, it was not just us, it was everybody on this screen, because there's a lot of familiar faces here that really made that happen. So thanks so much for your support.
Hey, well done, Carrie and your team. Again, thank you everybody for supporting us. That's huge. That's fantastic. We've come together today, and one want to spend time answering any questions you may have. You know, with programming, you know where we stand. Raising funds, fantastic. And moving forward during this next year, we're gonna need our friends even more as we go through the uncertainty with the vaccine and then getting back to programming. But we need everyone hands on deck. But any questions that you may have about what's going on here in our home in Cubs?
We did have one question come in, and I think it's a question for Deb, asking if you could explain a little more about what type of assistant you're looking for.
Ooh, yeah. So assistant instructors. We actually have on our career website, there is job postings and job descriptions there. And typically we're looking for anybody who is 21 or older, interested in working in the outdoors. And then, you know, I would just guide them to have a look at that information. Again, for any of you former instructors, if you would like to come back and dabble your foot in the field, please also get in touch. I see a number of faces on here. So we would love to have folks, but CPR, wilderness first aid, love for the outdoors. Really, we are looking for exciting people, and we don't want any barriers to be in the way of folks joining our community. So if you have any person that you think would be a good fit with our core values, our community, then please send them to our careers website.
Thank you, Deb. Sabrina, any other questions?
It looks like Franklin, you have a question. Feel free, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, good to
Yes.
go.
Hey, Franklin, how are you doing?
I'm delighted to be here, and I'm so glad to see old friends, Dan Leroy, John Huey, who was on the board when I joined back in the 1970s, and Rufus Dalton, who invited me to the board. Rufus, you never
Wow.
change. It's just fantastic. And my old friend from Birmingham, looks like Mandy Patinkin. Oh, it's Henry McHenry. Okay, thank you.
Franklin, can I say something to you? Thank you so much for your service to the board, to NCOPS. It's just good to see you here. Welcome home, buddy. Welcome home.
Thank you.
All right now.
My eyes are not so good either, Franklin.
Okay.
Sabrina, any other questions?
Those are the ones that I've seen so far in the chat. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat box. We did have one question that came up prior to about town office staff, if you wanted to just share what we're all doing.
You know what? Everyone's working remotely because of COVID. We have some people coming into the office here and there, but we have protocols in place. But bottom line is this: whether we're working remotely, coming to the office like Bill Murray does, shoot, Lindsay Ward, we have a dedicated staff in Asheville, Everglades City, who are just focused and just serving our people so we can carry out our mission.
Great. Any other questions? Feel free to pop on via video or drop them into the chat box. You guys are making it too easy on us tonight. Ken did such a great job.
Well, you know what, the team, Sabrina, thank you for what you've done. And also you need to know this, whether it's Deb, Carrie, Bill Murray, our staff, Everglades City, in Charlotte, in Asheville, we have people who are dedicated. Conditions may be tough. We have a board behind us. We have friends with us. We have a mission we're focused on, and we won't deviate. Since 1967, it's about making sure we help individuals love themselves, love others, and know they can do more than they ever thought they could do. Now with that, if there are no more questions, because we can be short talkers, We're gonna be long talkers.
I do
We're
have a
always
few
together.
more coming in.
All right then. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
One question is the difference between summer programming and semester long program. Can
All
someone
right.
answer that?
Deb?
What is the actual question asking between the difference between summer courses and the semester?
Yes.
Cool. So historically, the semester course is a 72-day international 3-phased course that we've been doing forever. And it typically goes in some variations from the North Carolina mountains to Florida to Patagonia, or reverse. So because of COVID, what we've had to do is, with not having international travel and wanting to reduce that risk, the domestic semester is a 2-phased 60 to 65-day program that is Florida to the mountains and vice versa. So that's what we're working on right now. For our summer courses, over the years, the number of courses has fluctuated, but we still are working with our historical courses, anywhere from a 9-day to a 14-day to a 22-day. We also have day courses longer than that in the summer, around 30 days, that are for specific groups that have come in for a 30-day course. So our meat and potatoes, bread and butter, are still the open enrollment youth courses, anywhere from 14 to 16, 16 to 18, with those open enrollment courses in the summer. So they're on the books.
All right.
And
Thank you. Thank you,
stay
Deb.
on, Deb. Frank, I see you. We'll come right back to you, but there's another question for Deb. Aside from the hiring that was already mentioned, are there job listings for instructor positions specifically?
Yeah, so they should be on our career website. Oh, I don't know if that's me ricocheting here or not. So yeah, on our careers website, there'll be instructor logistics. We also have kitchen facilities and kitchen facilities. All those positions are posted and are available. And we are hiring right now and interviewing. So a lot of those positions have been already taken up, but they're typically open and posted.
Hey, Sabrina, I saw also Dan Leroy's question about Atlanta
Yes.
in the chat box. Hey, I'll start, and Deb, please jump in. Hey, Dan, let you know, from day one coming into this interim position, I've been focused on Atlanta, ensuring that we're working with the Blank Foundation on American Explorers, and also further developing our Atlanta strategy. We've had some hires, a gentleman named Daryl Roberts in Atlanta, working with Gordon Grant and Deb to ensure that we are building that program out. Deb, anything you want to add?
No, nothing more.
All right, all right.
And just one thing on that, which has been really helpful with Atlanta specifically, is that engagement wise, some of our donors did pivot their funding for virtual programs, and that really allowed us to be right there with those schools and be a part of what's going on within the schools here during this time. So I know we're going to share a little bit more about virtual programs, but that's been huge in terms of just retaining those partners and just keeping them engaged during this process. And a lot of the schools in Atlanta public school system joined us here for those programs.
And that's true. That's true. Hey, Deb or Bill, want to jump in and just build on what's happening with virtual programming, since that's one of the questions in the chat box?
I'm going to let Bill go for that one.
Sure, I can jump in there. I mean, the short answer is that virtual programming has taken off in a way that we never would have anticipated. And we are serving a wide range of clients, from OBP management groups to educators, Capital City Charter, for example, some of the schools in Atlanta. We did a broad program with Evergreen Charter School right here in Asheville. It's really been quite remarkable. And while we don't ever see it replacing our core in-person experience, it has been a wonderful supplement, particularly during this time of COVID, but also the opportunities that it presents for us to do pre-work and post-work once we are back in the wilderness. So the Light and Sarah Goldman, Gordon Grant, quite a number of other staff have really been instrumental in bringing that to life. And it's again been a super bright spark for us. So thanks for asking about that.
All right.
And I want to
Thanks,
jump
Bill.
in, sorry, and let Frank go. He's been patiently waiting. Frank, you'll have to unmute
Oh,
yourself.
I'm sorry.
I sent the question in also. What can former staff, field staff, do besides promote the school and send funds to help support the school?
You know, I'll tell you this, Frank. Any advice you have to share with me, call me directly. Because you know, what's been great since I've been in this position? I mean, seriously, you know, the video I did several months ago, I gave my personal phone number. I've gotten so many phone calls. Like last week, I was in Village Inn. I get a text from my alumni who's in California. And she just sends me a note to say, hey, Ken, think about A, B, and C, or random calls. And that helps me better understand not only our legacy, but how we move forward. So, you know, personal advice from your experiences, how we move forward, take care of our people, you know, is very helpful, along with the funds and the good words that you have for us. And then I think in the chat box too, you have a question about the ED search.
Yes.
Just real quick, you know, as I said earlier, we have a search firm that's handling the actual search. We put together a position description, and I really hit the street the last couple of weeks. There's a copy of it, a link to it in the chat box, so you can check it out. But I think from talking to our search committee, we'll probably have someone in place by summer. And I'm assuming that we're gonna have great candidates. We're gonna make sure we pick someone who's looking at how we move forward to build on our legacy, but take us to the next level.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
There are a few more questions, one specifically related to the Unity project in Charlotte also.
All right. Hey, Deb, you got that one?
Yeah, sure. I
Mhm.
think that's from Travis. We have an awesome program coordinator down in Charlotte called Alexis Taylor, who has been looking after the Unity project program for a number of years now. We are working with a handful of schools in Charlotte, and before COVID, we were looking to increase the number of schools that we were participating in from 5 to 8 and growing. And COVID's put a little bit of a stump in that because a lot of the schools in Charlotte are virtual and the kids aren't in the classroom. And Alexis has been doing a really good job to reach out to all the school advisors. And we are working virtual with those schools. So again, and Bill had mentioned that there's a lot of great pre-work that can be done via virtual. And our 5 crews of Unity are on the books for June. So we are keeping our fingers crossed that Alexis will be able to work with the schools and the teachers and the kids to get that program rolling as we work through COVID. So I would say it's going very well. And it's just really terrific to have Alexis on the ground there working with the teachers daily.
Thank you, Deb. Hey, Sabrina, mind if I address State's Lee's question? He asked about OBUSA. Hey, Stace, good that you're on this tonight. Appreciate seeing you. We just had a OBUSA call earlier today with the EDs. I'm gonna give you a big picture. Big picture, every school is finding its way through COVID. Big picture, you know, with challenges with growing and understanding diversity and inclusion work. Each school is looking at where we fit in, how we evolve. And that includes too, you know, how we express ourselves when we have certain issues that pop up, and make sure we're on brand as a outward bound USA system, but as individual regional schools. But since I've been on board, I've been really working closely with Josh Brackman, the head, reaching out to the other schools, and we're all finding our way together. So that's the big picture. Give me a call later, I'll give you more details. And then one more question, Sabrina, if you don't mind. There's a question I'll start answering and have others join in, maybe you, Deb, or you can carry. How's the Jedi work being communicated to us? Hey, bottom line is this, with our board chair and board members who are part of our Jedi committee, we've really been committed to that work, drilling down, getting suggestions on what we can do to continue evolving the school. And one thing I'd like to share with you, on top of that particular work, making sure we ask the questions that we're training ourselves to understand those issues. And Thursday, we have a conversation with Ben Crump going from 4 o'clock to 5:30. And for those of you who know, Ben Crump is one of the leading civil rights lawyers and leaders in the country for the last 20 years. Trayvon Martin, a young lady who died in Kentucky, and also a situation in New York, he's been a lawyer on the cutting edge of these issues. And through Bob Cox, who was on the HIOBS and NCOBS board, he's bringing Ben Crump to share his thoughts on how is diversity issues impacting our country? How are things from the cases you handled over the last 20-something years? Then with the corporations that you consult with, what advice you're giving them about how you can be more diverse, recognize the realities of the world? And then as NCOBS, what lessons can we take as we continue to evolve and grow in this space? So Deb, Carrie, anything else to share? Even Kent.
Yeah, I think Alan wrote this question. So where we are right now is last year we spent the whole year doing an audit with an outside contractor group. And just before the Christmas holidays, they gave us a really long list of strategies for us to consider. And what we're currently doing is each of those strategies have been broken down into the applicable department, and the departments are looking at those strategies and prioritizing. And so I know that for the field staff, anything to do with program, we actually sent out a survey to all active field staff to get their input on the strategies that are applicable to program. And so if you haven't seen that survey, please reach out and let me know, and we'll make sure that that gets to you. But we are seeking input from our field staff. And then really the goal will be that once we strategize and prioritize what we are going to handle in year 1, year 2, year 3, because we know that this is a multi-year process and not just something that can happen overnight. They're going to be embedded into our strategic vision, which is, something that we want to share out with the global community of the direction that the school is going.
All right. Thank you, Deb. Let's see. Ms. Sabrina?
Yes, there is a question related to programming and COVID. It's a double question. What is the percentage of course capacity this year from before COVID? And are there additional precautions that are being taken because of COVID?
Yeah, let me just say this broadly, then have Deb, Bill jump in. By virtue of COVID, we have not had programming. We've been following our protocols, making sure that we are measuring through our original protocols where our students are coming from and conditions on the ground, and find that rates have gone up. And that's why we've cut courses, short courses in February. Deb has worked closely with our safety director, and then as a leadership team, the student services, safety director, even the board chair, evaluating the situation on the ground. Because bottom line is this, we are here for the long term. This disease, hopefully is short term. It's foggy right now. We're like any outbound course, we're gonna find our way and reach the summit. Deb, you want to add anything of substance beyond what I have to share?
Yeah, I think I heard a question just about what our protocols are. Mm-hmm. And we are working closely with our state and federal colleagues, with the CDC, the American Camping Association, and the 3 W's are in place for us. So we're wearing masks, we're keeping social distance, we're washing his hands. And then because COVID is just rampant in the whole country right now, we are looking more to testing both our staff and students prior to arrival and on course start day. And for the longer courses, there'll be subsequent testing after that so that we can mitigate exposure from their travel. So they're the protocols that we are putting in place. And it's great to be part of OB USA, because the OB USA Safety Department is really helping all the schools ensure that they have good protocols in place if and when we have a situation with COVID on the ground.
That's right. Sabrina?
Yes, there, actually, don't let me, yes. There is one question about 2022 being our 55th anniversary. Are we planning to celebrate? Any plans for now?
Well, you know, I like a good party. Well, Miss Carrie, Deb, Bill, let's just talk about it on the flip side, all right?
I would just say also just that resources are a little tight, so it's not something we've had the opportunity to truly invest into planning around, but we would definitely celebrate it in different ways that are economically appropriate for us this next upcoming year.
Thank you, Carrie. Sabrina?
That is all for now. Anyone else? Feel free to hop on video, drop a question in the chat box. I'm not seeing any questions rolling in.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to say a few words and then we're going to wrap up. Now, we are going to have our next town hall April 27th. All right. So be there, be square. But more importantly, as I said earlier, when I started this conversation, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for having our backs. Thank you for your moral support and financial support. And just thank you, I'm going to say this as long as I'm here and, wearing this vest right here that says North Carolina Outward Bound School. I'm grateful that you stood behind me. Anytime you want to talk to me, call me, 813-751-9899. 813-751-9899, because we're in this thing together. With that, Miss Sabrina, should I say goodnight?
Sounds great. Thank
Friends
you
and
all.
family, Vida Sane, good night.
Good night.
All right now, appreciate you.